Hey there, how you holding up? Another week down, only however so many to go as we are still trying to get through this COVID-19 new era that we are in. So I wanted to come to you this week with something that has just been weighing on me as we are going through these times of this unknown territory. We have this new normal that's happening for a lot of people of having to change up the way that we're doing things. And of course, one of which is sheltering in place, which is something that is not what we're used to of having to stay at home. So trying to work around that. But as of March 31st, the governor of Georgia, I'm in Georgia, located in Georgia. The governor of Georgia has issued a statewide stay in place or shelter in place for everyone that's not considered an essential worker. And so that's totally fine. That's something that was expected and something that we would have wanted so that we can try to decrease the spread of the COVID-19 virus and ensuring that we're minimizing those who are getting sick and so forth. Perfectly fine and okay with that. But where the real concern for me came in is when they said that the school systems were going to be closed for the rest of this calendar year, the rest of the school year, I should say. And so that to me was very alarming. It's understandable, being that school is a place where a lot of people can congregate together. And so the virus has not decreased. And of course, you can have a spike and the increase of number of cases because there's a lot of people that are in one place together. So I understand that. But where the real concern is where there are areas or communities of children who unfortunately do not have the capability or do not have access to technology. And so being that school is going to be closed for the rest of this school year, what they're asking is for all the students to go online to undergo these digital learning days that they have. Now, this system was put in place for when we have inclement weather, let's say snow, which is something that we typically don't have in Georgia. But let's say snow, bad weather, hurricanes, tornadoes, whatever the case may be, where a student will have to be out of school. Instead of them completely missing a full day of school, they have implemented this digital learning day where kids can go online and access schoolwork. So it's as if they are at school but at home. It's a great program. It's a great way for kids to not be left behind when they're out of school. However, we understand that there are communities where children unfortunately do not have that accessibility to technology to go online. So my concern is for the next 2.5 months or more, for those who have let schools out earlier, what are those children going to do, and how are they going to ensure that they are continuing to develop in the way in which they need to in order to go to the next school, to start the next school year, going into the next grade. And so these kids are going to be passed, but my concern is they're going to be passed at a disadvantage. Now, I have a little one myself, and so I only have one student at home, and bless those who have more than one student. And also bless the teachers who are dealing with, 10, 18 kids at a time to just themselves, of being able to get through that day. Because I can tell you it is a challenge. It's been fun, but it's a challenge. But for those who are in these communities that don't have the access, they're going to be passed through these, next grades, but they're going to be at a disadvantage because they haven't had the opportunity to learn the crucial and critical things that they need in order to make them ready. And so that's what my concern is for these individuals. Now, some students, what they would do is they would have the opportunity to take advantage of the library. But during these times, the library is also closed as well. So what are they being able to turn to? Now, during these digital learning days, some of the teachers are actually having video conferences with the students so the students can see them and they can see the students, which is great, while other schools are implementing just documents or material that's online for the students to print out, complete, and then turn back in. And so it's great because those students are still able to develop in a way. They're still able to learn the material that they need to. But then you have a group of students who unfortunately don't have that capability. And so my ask is that if you know anyone that's in the education system, if you know anyone that's a teacher, or if you have the capability to do so, please print out some materials, print out some work, and give it to those kids so that they can still ensure that they are prepared and they're learning what they need to. Now listen, I'm not a teacher. Some of the material that my daughter is learning, I have to teach myself as well, because this new math, this new way of doing math, it's just crazy. It's not what I was taught or what I've learned. And so it's a challenge. But having the structure. There are still parents who are still going to work. There are still parents who are still working from home, and so they don't necessarily have the time as well to give the students the attention that they need, to give the kids the attention that they need to ensure that they're learning the material that they need to. What I have done is I reached out to my daughter's teacher and asked her for the school schedule, day schedule that my child would normally have when they're in school, breaking down all the different segments and different sessions, so that way I can try to implement that at home. Now, I'm not following it to a T, I'm not following it hour by hour, but it'll at least give me some idea of how the day was structured and try to structure that as well at home. But for those who are still working, those kids unfortunately may not have that ability to continue to have that structure. And so with kids being out of school for 2.5 months, then we're going into summer, that gives even more time. There's even more of a gap of them learning and making sure that they're on par for the next school year. So I'm just asking that you please, in some way, try to help those students who don't have the capability. What I have noticed, being an essential worker myself, being in real estate as an agent, going out there, making sure that I'm safe, I have noticed that there have been some schools that have provided boxes in front of their school with each grade for each individual box, and they had work material in those boxes for parents to come up and grab it to give to their child. Now, I'm not sure if that's material for the day or for the week, but I do know that it was material for them to give to their children so that they can continue to learn during this time that they're out of school. And I thought that was a great thing. It's a great initiative. It's a great way to ensure that the students still have something, especially for those who don't have technology or access to it. I feel like this is something that all schools technically should be implementing, because you just never know who does and who doesn't. Even in the communities where the children, may have, more access to things, they still may not have the computer, especially if their parents are the ones that have to use that computer for their job if they are working from home. So I feel like if it's an opportunity for the schools to find some type of way to print out these materials and blast it out to the parents, let them know, hey, come to the school, grab some schoolwork for your child, I feel like that would be a great initiative to ensure that children are not left behind. That's the last thing that we want, is for children to be left behind, to be struggling and so forth because of this pandemic that has, changed up the way in which we're doing things. There's still ways in which we can help, and I'm just asking for everyone, if they can, to do their part. So if you are in the education sector and you can talk to someone that can try to put this in place, or if you're just a parent who has access to these things and you have the ability to print material out because that there's someone, possibly in the community who doesn't have that opportunity, please, if you can, help them out. We're all in this together. I'm just asking for everyone, of course, to do their part if they're able to during these COVID-19 times, until we get to a place that's somewhat of normalcy for us. So that's something that was just weighing heavy on me, education and how these kids are going to be at a disadvantage and what it is that we can do. If you have some ideas, or if you're noticing in your community that they're doing something different that can be helpful, drop it in the comment box below, so that way we can spread the word and make sure that our kids are prepared for this next school year. Thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please be safe out there if you have to be out there. Thank you to the teachers and all the essential workers out there who are doing their part. Hopefully we can be a part of that and do our part as well. Until next time, take care. Bye.